This podcast is a proud member of the UUOP Network.
Your attention, please, and welcome to the Portkey Passport, a Disney podcast for adults, where we discuss all things travel, Disney, and beyond. Grab your passport, sit back, relax, and enjoy the wildest podcast in suburbia. Hosts, grab your park bags and stand clear of the doors as we dive into this episode.
Welcome to episode 41 of the Portkey Passport. I'm Tricia, and I'm here with Jordan.
Hi, Tricia.
And today is going to be a bit like the potpourri category in Jeopardy! We've got a few topics to cover, so let's dive right in.
There's some great early summer resort discounts for Disney Plus members if you book a trip between June 21st and August 15th, 2026 for select 2-night stays or longer. You can score a room at All-Star Sports for as low as $99 a night. Could be a great way to enjoy the parks for the return of Cool Kids Summer, not just for the kids.
Have you ever done Cool Kids Summer? I know it was just last year.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't get down there last year for it.
I was down there, but not enough. We went on a cruise, so it wasn't a priority for like the one day we were in the parks.
Yeah, typically, and I know I mentioned this last time, typically you won't find me in the parks between, May and October or May and September, but I actually have a trip planned for next week. So I'll mention a little bit about that later.
Can't wait to hear. But since you mentioned Cool Kids Summer, let's take a look at some of the highlights that are a limited time offering that you can do in the parks if you are brave enough to go down in the summer. If you're a fan of Bluey, starting May 26th, so by the time you hear this broadcast, you can take the Wildlife Express train back to the newly reopened conservation station to experience the world of Bluey. I did a version of this in Disneyland earlier this year, and it's cute. It was not at all what I expected. I thought you'd be able to meet Bluey and Bingo, but they did not have a meet and greet in Disneyland, and it was just this stage performance, which was cute and very well attended. Like every seat was taken in this giant auditorium. So it is very popular. Jordan, brush up on your Bluey because you'll be using that, I'm sure, in the near future.
Yeah, I will. Have they mentioned for the version of Animal Kingdom if it's going to have a meet and greet?
They made it sound like it may. And it's going to be a different setup because I'm trying to think. Have you ever done the animal actors or the live animal show in Animal Kingdom?
I have,
Ever seen?
yeah.
Yeah, that's the size of the space in Disneyland that they used, which obviously they don't have that at Animal Kingdom. So my guess is it's going to be a very different experience.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't read a ton about it, but I heard it was replacing the animation activity that was on the Wildlife Express
That makes
route.
me sad.
Yeah. I think it's made a lot of people sad.
The other thing to note about this is it will have a virtual queue. So for those who dread virtual queues, be prepared. I don't know. I think this is going to be insane. Have you ever taken that train out there?
I've done it, but it's been a while.
I always am nervous. Like at least in Universal, the Hogwarts train is going one way or the other to a park. But this is literally going to an outshoot of Animal Kingdom, and then you have to make your way back. And it can be kind of a lengthy wait depending on the time of day you go. So
Yeah, I think you just have to be really cognizant and plan around, hey, I may have to wait to get back to the park after I do this activity.
very much so. So as much as we think there probably won't be dance parties with Bluey and Bingo, you can go over to Epcot and Hollywood Studios for some dancing with some characters. Or you can head to the Diamond Horseshoe in Magic Kingdom for Jesse's Roundup, a rip roarin' review, to hang with characters from Toy Story. I'm curious what this ends up being because it kind of right now is an overflow for Liberty Tree Tavern.
I kind of have an idea, and I have no inside information or know what it is. But have you ever done Mickey's Not So Scary?
Have.
They'll usually have dance parties in that area, and I'm just assuming it's going to be something like that.
Okay. Interesting how it's Toy Story in the Magic Kingdom. Seems like an odd choice, but okay.
I Yeah, but I think it fits with kind of the Wild West and Frontierland. If you're leaning into Jessie, I think she fits there.
That is true. If you had the choice of doing a summer special character meet and greet, who would you want to have in the Magic Kingdom?
That is a great question. Um, I think I would kind of lean into characters that are usually there but harder to see. Like it would be really awesome to see Red out and about in the park with Jack Sparrow. That would be a really interesting thing to do.
Mm. Yeah, I was fortunate enough a few years back to see her in Disneyland, but they get a lot more character interactions out there. Granted, they're a lot closer to Hollywood. So I'm a little jealous of the amount of characters that they have.
For sure. It's definitely something that I would love to see more of is just, character interactions in every park.
I think I'd want characters that don't normally come out for like Halloween party or the Christmas party. Um, just ones that maybe haven't been around much. Like I don't know, Miko or I don't know, like Baloo, King Louie. I don't know, just like characters from more classic Disney movies. I think would be fun to see.
Yeah, totally. If it was, I don't want to say a rare character, but characters that fit the environment that aren't, they're not the typical characters you have a meet and greet with. It would be cool to just see them walking around one day.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a bit of nostalgia, if you're younger than me, where I would be referencing musicals like Newsies, one of the other things you can catch during Cool Kids Summer is at Disney Springs, where on select nights they will have musical hits being played live from movies like Descendants and Camp Rock. And that is because they're doing Camp Rock 3 release on Disney Plus this summer. Not the biggest Camp Rock fan. That was kind of I was not an age really that overlapped with like any of the musical phenomenons on the Disney Channel. So I missed
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. When High School Musical was a thing, I was in high school and I was very much too cool for school and I would not be caught dead watching High School Musical when I was that age. So this is an area where I really wasn't plugged into Disney much. Uh,
Yeah.
Learning new things about it every time I go to the park now.
One other thing, if you're wanting to beat the heat, head to the water parks. They are bringing back um, the option of a free park day or water park day on your check-in day at a Disney resort, which is really awesome. And from my understanding, they're going to have both water parks open. So you can choose to either go to Blizzard Beach, where Goofy will be hanging out, or you can head over to Typhoon Lagoon and see Stitch creating some mayhem. I did take advantage of this. I was hoping to do both water parks last year. We had an unfortunate circumstance, though, on our second trip down. The first one, we ended up at Blizzard Beach. It was just me and my daughter. And then we went down later in it's like early October. Still pretty hot in Florida at that time. So we were going to go to Typhoon Lagoon. And on the plane, the friend that came with us, her friend threw up from chugging a Mountain Dew. So I decided we weren't going to travel too far from the resort that day. And after we got off the plane, she was totally fine the rest of the trip. But that was a little bit of a harrowing journey to Florida with a kid that I never traveled with before. So,
Yeah, better safe than sorry for those.
so I'm hoping someday. Have you ever been to either of the water parks yourself?
I have not actually. I don't typically do water parks, but I only ever hear good things about Blizzard Beach. I don't. You don't normally hear a lot of people talk about Typhoon Lagoon just because it's not open very often. So it's really awesome that it'll be open and people will get to go explore.
Yeah, so if you're down in that area or you want to book a trip this summer, those are some of the things that you can check out during Cool Kid Summer. And speaking of checking out some stuff, I think you have a trip coming up, don't you?
Yeah, I'm actually. When you hear this recording, I will be maybe at a Savannah Bananas game in at Wide World Sports. But for me, that's next week. So my family, my mom and my wife and I are going. We're gonna stay at Old Key West, which is one of our favorites, and the plan is to see the Bananas game and then hopefully make it over to Hollywood Studios to check out Muppet Rock and Roller Coaster.
You're gonna make your wife sit that one out since she's pregnant.
I'm gonna. She will probably go through the queue with me and take the chicken exit because she is just as much of a Muppets fan as I am.
Have you ever seen a Savannah Bananas game before or anything from that kind of baseball league?
Yeah, I've been to a couple Savannah Banana games. It's an incredible atmosphere. It's such a great family activity. They do such a good job, entertaining from like 8 to 88. It's one of those things
Aw.
you can go as a little kid or you can go as an adult, and you there's something for everyone. It's such a fun activity, and it's a really cool thing as a kid who grew up with baseball to see
Hmm.
baseball be accessible again, because I I might be on a little bit of a sports soapbox, but baseball has kind of become one of these things that the you know the Sandlot was the big thing when I was a kid, and you
Mm.
look at parks like that now, and they're all shut down, and it's just giant travel ball leagues and whatever. But it the Bananas are really trying to bring back baseball and make it fun for kids.
Yeah. I last year, well, would have been 2 years ago. I don't know. I did enter for the raffle. I wasn't able to do it last year because we had other trips planned. But I unfortunately did not get selected. And I was very bummed because I follow them on social media. And I was a softball player. My dad was a baseball player. So it's like I live in Wisconsin. We had RIP, one of the best radio announcers, Bob Euchre. And I just grew up on baseball. So I was really hoping, but I'll keep trying. Someday I'll get in there.
Yeah, let me know if you need a hookup. One of our friends is part of the K Club, which is their, like super fan membership, and they get
Oh,
early access to tickets, and that's kind of how we got our tickets. So, if you need a hookup, Trisha, I will get you paired up with Matt, and he can help you out.
all right. Pays to have friends.
It does.
I also wanted to ask you a little bit about Old Key West. I've only visited that resort. I've never actually done much there, but it's one I've been eyeballing up to stay at. We are not DVC. That's a battle I'm still working on with my husband. I'm trying to convince him. What are some of the things that you enjoy about that resort?
So my family and I are really folks that like to be in the parks. And I love Old Key West because if I'm not at the resort, there's nothing I feel like I'm missing out on. Uh, Old Key West is great. It fits in that great moderate kind of value space. It's above an all-star accommodations wise. They do still have great pools. They're connected to Disney Springs on the water, so it's easy to get there if you want. Um, but it's a resort that kind of encourages you to explore because there is a sit down, but there's not a really great quick service restaurant there. So um, it's great as an adult because you get the Key West vibes, and there's some bars you can go to, and you got the pool bars and all that. But it's a resort that I like to book when I know I'm going to be in the parks for a while because I don't feel bad leaving the resort.
Okay. Uh, have they refurbished recently?
I think so. I think they've been going through and updating. No major changes that I know of, but just refreshing the rooms.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you've got some interesting things you'll be able to share with us when you get back. Are
Absolutely.
you are you also planning on checking out like Big Thunder or Buzz when you're down there?
I'm going to try to fit in as much as I can, but with pregnant wife and it being kind of the heat of the summer, I'm not trying to push it. I'm very much pushing for I really want to do Hollywood Studios and Rock and Roller Coaster. So if I can only make it to one park outside of our other planned activities, that'll be the one. But if I do get time to go to Magic Kingdom, I will definitely try Big Thunder and Buzz Lightyear.
I'll cross my fingers for you guys.
Yeah, Buzz Lightyear is one of my favorites. So I'm glad to see it got the refurb. But I'm a little sad that my Galactic Hero selfie doesn't mean as much now since the scores went up.
Oh, you're gonna have to work that much harder now.
Hopefully, it'll be a little easier now with the updated aiming and things like that.
Well, I'm gonna need all the help I can get because I struggle.
So I'll be honest about it. I only got Galactic Hero because the ride stopped right in front of one of the high value targets, and I was just slamming that trigger while the ride was stopped. And I had Galactic Hero like halfway through the ride, and was just gloating to my wife because she missed it.
Well, I think that still counts. So, in my book, you're still a galactic hero.
Hey, I'm still counting it.
Well, if you have a recent trip that you've taken, perhaps one you've booked with Portkey Vacations, we would love to hear from you. So feel free to reach out to us at Portkey Passport at portkeyvacations.com, and we'd love to have you join the show and give a trip recap. All right, we're going to move on to our main topic now. So, I took a look back in the archives, and there are a couple of topics that we started but never really finished. And way back in episode 7, we covered our top 5 rides in Magic Kingdom, but we haven't touched any of the other parks since then. So, I thought we'd hop over to Epcot and we would go through our top 5 attractions that we are kind of like cannot misses when we have the day there. So, Jordan, do you want to give us your number 5 and why you chose that?
Sure. I'll just lead off by saying this is really difficult for me because I
Mm,
have a few Epcot rides that are always the must dos, and then I was going through and just thinking, does drinking around the world count as a
as an
uh,
attraction.
yeah? But I went through and tried to comb out the ones that I don't normally do, but I love, and that was number 5 for me. My other top 4 are rides that I do every time I go, but number 5 for me was Soarin'. I'm excited to try Soarin' across America, but from the early reports that I've heard, I kind of just want California.
I I love Soren. And I may mention that in a little bit here. But for me, I put down for number 5 Frozen Ever After. Um, this one hits close to home because my daughter was born the year that Frozen um, came out, the original movie. And she was a rough sleeper. It took a while for her to be able to sleep through the night. So I just remember like feeding her in the middle of the night and I'd have a headphone, like one earbud in. and I'd have the screen darkened, but to keep myself awake, I would watch Frozen in like chunks. And I think I watched the movie like a dozen times over the course of like her first 6 to 8 months of life. Um, it was like a cute movie that didn't really get me riled up, and I loved Olaf. So that ride is very near and dear to my heart because of my daughter.
That that is such a cool story. My wife is a huge Frozen fan and wants to do Frozen as often as we can. I am not really, so it's one that I kind of poke fun at her about. But it's all playful, and I always do it with her when she wants to go.
I I had to laugh because I have one ride photo where it's my husband and I, and we are all adults. It was an evening ride on it. The line was really short, and I was like, "Hey, do you want to get in line for this?" He's like, "Sure." And it's literally like my husband and I, and then like behind us, there's like two more couples of adults with a male and a female, and then the very last row, there's like one single gentleman, and all of the guys just have like deadpan faces. All of the girls are smiling, like big ear to ear grins, and the guy in the back is just having the time of his life, and I'm like, this is the funniest photo.
See, now I don't feel as original that I always have a deadpan face going down that drop, and I always try just to look the most bored for that ride photo.
All right, how about your number four?
Let me look back. What did I say for number four? Oh, number four is a classic, one that I've been doing since I was a kid and going to the parks. It's Spaceship Earth. Another one that my wife and I do every time we go. I would love, a little retheme. It's getting a little dusty in there, but an update would be great. But Spaceship Earth is a classic, and I never miss it when I go to Epcot.
I do love Spaceship Earth, and I actually put Soren for number four. I'm curious to see what this. I never remember the name of the 250th anniversary of the country. It's a big long word, but that it actually just debuted this week. Um, the new film, and I am curious to see what it will be. I'll be going in at the end of September. I'm assuming they're going to have the new film for a while, so I plan to check it out.
Yeah, I don't think they've said anything about when or if it will go back to around the world, but yeah, it's exciting I'm excited to go see the new film as well.
I hope they take this opportunity to make a new film that, like, when they're done showing this sesquicentennial, whatever it is, when they're done showing this film, I hope that gives them the time they need to make a new film that with newer technologies. So I'm sorry. The Eiffel Tower still leans, just not as bad. Like the Egyptian pyramids still lean, just not as bad. So if they can be able to do a film where it can account for the curvature of the screen, I would love that.
Yeah, I'm interested in what it would take technically to make that happen, since it is the IMAX screen is a giant curved screen,
Yeah.
obviously. So I'm interested if that is even possible, and technically on the back end, what that might look like.
Well, I hope they can do it. All right. What about your number three?
Number three for me is something that did recently get a retheme. It's Test Track,
Okay. And of the versions, your favorite would be?
the original. I
Yeah,
love the Crash Test Dummies vibe
me
that it
too.
had to it. But the new version is a step up from the version that we came from previously. I have a soft spot for the design your own car, because I'm an
Mm,
engineer at heart, and I love, even as an adult, going through and optimizing my car for the best performance, even though it really doesn't matter. But it I was a little sad to see that go, but the show building and those updates are really cool. I think they did a great job with that. But again, real soft spot for the original version.
Yeah. So there's an attraction we're going to talk about a little later on that we both put as our number one. And that has kind of ruined, I think, Test Track for me, especially having Test Track go down while they were doing the remodel and then riding it after riding some of the newer things that are in the park. And I was like, huh, it's okay. I still like going fast outside. I do miss building your own car. My daughter loved doing that when she was younger. Um, I think the part that's hard too is then we went when we were in Disneyland, they have the Radiator Springs Racers, which is essentially the same ride. Just like the track is the same, but there's more outdoor pieces and it's very well themed to cars. So that made it hard to come back to Disney World and ride a version of Test Track that is not my favorite. Um, Mine also was the crash test dummies. I still remember as a kid seeing their commercials on TV about safety. So yeah, but I do like going fast. I will say it's always. I don't know how you are about seeing the speedometer that they have, but I'm always like hoping that maybe we'll get that one extra like mile per hour on the sign.
It's always hilarious to me because it feels so fast, but then you're like, I was literally driving on I-4 faster than this to get to.
That is true. All right. So my number three, and this was really hard because my top three were like, well, my top two and three, I think I could be interchangeable. Was Living with the Land. Um, I'm a huge fan of education. Weirdly enough, my 12-year-old daughter loves Living with the Land. So we both really enjoy going through this attraction. Um, and
Have
I
you
think that
ever
actually,
Sorry,
go
go ahead.
ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was Have you ever done the, behind the scenes tour?
I have. Have you?
I have. It was such a great tour. I love doing that.
Yes. And I was actually going to bring that up as you mentioned your number two, so that can tie into the one I just mentioned for my
Y
number three.
Yep, my number 2 is Living with the Land, really for the same reason. It really, besides Spaceship Earth, is really the only thing that carries the old classic Epcot feel still,
Hmm.
and I love that kind of edutainment, I guess is the way to call it. That there is still that focus on, hey, we can make the world a better place. This is the technology. These are the cool things we're doing. Seeing, hey, maybe I'm gonna have a salad that had some lettuce from Living with the Land in it. That it's such a cool thing, and I always get excited to go through and see the plants growing and see the the themes for the greenhouse. The holiday themes
Yeah.
are
Oh,
always great.
yes. Yeah. I like rides that have a rewritability factor. And I feel like this one, yes, you hear the same narration, but depending on what time of the day you go through, you may see cast members tending to various areas, plants in different stages of growth. Like you said, the decorations, like even during the festivals, they have, like added decorations that display plant items that are used at the different booths. And I value that they put time and effort into this particular attraction.
Absolutely, and I still have a plant that I bought a
Yeah.
couple years ago that I think it's an orchid or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but my wife and I are still growing it. It's still alive. We did lose our vanilla that we bought, but the orchid is still going strong.
Okay, so it has a longer lifespan than a fish at a like carnival.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you just leave it in the gel that it comes in, as long as you don't open it, it will stay alive for like 6 months before you have to replant it. So you don't have to
Oh,
worry about, something's gonna go wrong trying to get it home and the luggage or something like that. They make it super easy. You've got a lot of time to get it home, get it replanted, and if you've got a little bit of a green thumb, you can keep them going.
Good to know. I've seen them and I've never purchased because we typically fly, and I don't know how well a plant would do on an airplane. That's my only concern.
I think you could make it through. I think the containers that they sell them in are sealed enough that in the gel that they're in, they would survive.
I may have to experiment and see if I can do that and keep it
Yeah,
alive.
it's a great souvenir. Even if it doesn't survive, it's a fun story. At the worst, it's a fun story.
So while we're on the topic, we you had mentioned behind the scenes tour. I love this particular like kind of added feature. If one, it's only like an hour long, so for people who are interested in plussing up their vacation, it's not going to take up a huge part of your day, and the cost is pretty reasonable, especially if you have an annual pass. I was able to get it at a discount, and I want to say I think I paid like $25 a person for it. So not bad considering Disney prices. What was your kind of takeaway from your experience with it?
I thought it was a great tour. It's a great way to spend an hour. I did look it up. I think it's about $40 per person now.
Hmm.
Still a great value though. You're inside in the greenhouse, so in the heat of the summer, it's a great way to beat the heat for an hour. It's a walking tour, so you are on your feet, but it is shaded and in some climate control, so it's nice. It's again, I still love that the classic Epcot, and it's one of those things that's keeping that alive. So of course, I love that tour.
There's also like this little piece of me that felt like the 1% as I'm on this tour and people are going past in the boat, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm special.
It's so fun just to watch people go by. And now that I've done the tour, I always look to, the station where you get to eat the cucumber and see if anybody's there getting to
Yeah.
try it.
Yeah. Me too. The other thing is I do run Disney, and there's a part where you actually kind of are outside, kind of crossing between buildings. And that back in that area is where they have part of the race. And so when we were back there, I was kind of trying to orient myself to where we were versus where was currently on the tour. So it's kind of fun when you get these sneak peeks of like behind the curtain.
Oh yeah, I love a behind the scenes tour. It's not the only one that I've done, and maybe when we talk Magic Kingdom, I can talk about the Keys to the Kingdom tour.
I would love to hear your thoughts on that. It's one I've been eyeing up, but we go so often with my daughter that one, I don't think she's old enough yet. And I don't think she would tolerate spending that many hours doing a tour when she could be on Space Mountain.
Yeah, there's definitely a sweet spot for it.
Well, my number two has already been mentioned, and that is Spaceship Earth. Again, the edutainment factor. But my absolute favorite thing on this ride is at the very end, where you get your picture taken at the beginning and it finally comes back into play and you get to choose your own adventure kind of thing. My family makes a point to make the weirdest faces in the photo so that when they're doing the little video on the video screen in the car, we just look totally ridiculous and it's quite entertaining.
Yeah, I think we make such weird faces that we don't show up sometimes, and that's my only
Yes.
bummer about that part.
Yeah. I have to say it was entertaining. The most recent time we were down there was just me and my husband, and he had no head the entire time, which made me laugh watching that video because there were parts where like I made this face where I don't know, I could have resembled somewhat of a serial killer, and we were sitting, quote quote, we're sitting at our kitchen table, and I've got this like psychotic look on my face, and his head is completely gone, and it's like you could make a story about this scene right now.
Yeah, it's perfect. He could fit in with the newspaper boy, though, right?
True. Have you ever done any of the things at the end? Have you ever spent any time once you get off of the attraction?
I did when I was a kid, or when I was a little younger. I guess I wouldn't say kid, but it's been a while, and they're the same. It's just kind of like you look at what you're doing in those things, and back in the old Epcot days, you had interventions where, or the Imagination Pavilion, where you had all the cutting edge stuff, and now you look at what's at the end of Spaceship Earth, and it's like, I could do that at home
Yes, it has been well loved.
for
I
sure.
have to say, kind of going back to Test Track, if we're talking about the end of attractions, um, we tend to book it past all of those cars. I have a fear that one of those like salespeople will walk up to us and start talking to us, and I'm just like, no, I don't have time for that. I'm in park mode.
I think they do a really good job there of not uh, ambushing you. They're there if you want to go talk to them, but they're not like the phone salesman in Costco coming up to you. Uh, because I when we went and rode the new version of Test Track, the new Corvette was still pretty new. It was maybe the first or second model year, and they had one at the end, and I spent maybe 10 or 15 minutes just drooling over it. And no one ever tried to come up to me and sell it, so I was happy about that.
Well, that's nice. I'm curious, like how many sales, if any, they have. It seems like such an odd place.
I'm sure the number would surprise you. But back to Spaceship Earth, have you gone to Go 82?
Oh, yes. Have you been there?
I have. We did the fireworks at Go 82, which is
Okay.
another amazing add-on. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts about it.
I went as a solo traveler. I wanted to check it out, and I had one of the best experiences. I'm curious to hear what your experience was. But since I was single, I was at the bar, and it was during the day. It was probably like 2 in the afternoon, and I was seated between two other individuals that were traveling solo, and we just started chatting. The bartender, like, he he like talked to me and like addressed me by my first name, and every time he came back to check on me, he was always like, "Hey Trisha, how are you doing?" And I'm like, "You're serving a lot of people here, and I'm impressed that you remembered, or maybe you have it written on your arm, I don't know." But it was he was just very like approachable. I was really surprised at the quality of the drinks. It is pricey. Like, let's just be real honest about that. But he was telling us about how, like, they kind of like get very like small batch types of alcohol that they use in their mixes, and it's like all handcrafted, which I can understand then why the cost would be higher. Especially coming from like, now, no knock against like Olga's Cantina, but when it's like that, or Beacon Barrel where it's just like pre-mixed and it comes out of like a tap, it means something more when someone's actually hand mixing your drinks. So I enjoyed it, but I'd like to hear your thoughts.
I agree with you. I'm a cocktail nerd. I love mixology, and I'll mix up a cocktail or two at home. But the firework experience, I got kind of the same feeling from our server there. I don't think she called me by name, but got the same, like, really uh, special kind of treatment, I guess, which you kind of expect for $179 a person. But it was a really great experience. The food that you get as part of the fireworks experience are, it's these different little kind of finger foods, and every single bite, I wanted to go back for another bite. It was, you don't get a ton of it, which is great because it's kind of like the fine dining level. You get one bite and it's every flavor that you ever imagined it could be, and it's great. I highly recommend it. It is, like you said, pricey, but the cocktails are great. The fireworks experience, you get unlimited champagne, an old fashioned and a margarita, I think was the other drink option. And we kind of stumbled at Epcot that night, leaving the fireworks. But it's great quality. The service there is great. The atmosphere is great. I wouldn't recommend it if you have a younger kid. It's not going to be a really great place to take a younger kid, but for a really you can,
I think isn't there an age limit? I thought it was
yeah,
21 and
you're right. It
older.
is. So I totally forgot about that. So yeah, Disney knows
Have him
too.
have him sit on a bench. We'll be back in an hour.
Yeah, it's a great adults only experience.
Yeah. I just remember how calm it was, and it was so nice having a quiet place to go in the middle of the day. That was so wonderful. So a question about the fireworks experience. The food that they served, was it different from the items that were on the menu?
I think it is. I haven't looked at the menu in quite a while, but I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it is different food than is on the regular menu. Uh,
Okay.
the food that you get, there's a savory macaron, which
Ooh,
was really
interesting.
interesting.
Mm,
There was a deviled egg that had I forget, prosciutto maybe. It was some smoked meat on top. Again, amazing. And then there's like a charcuterie plate. And there's also a little dessert plate with chocolate covered strawberries and a couple of one bite desserts.
okay. That definitely sounds like a step up from the Magic Kingdom fireworks
It
party.
it definitely is. But again,
uh,
you are going to pay a premium for it. But
yeah.
I think it is worth the premium price.
Okay. Good to know. I did a few of their like standard menu items. I did a mushroom flatbread, which was really good, and then their version of essentially a crab cake, which was also very good. And I like the portions because they're small enough that you're not leaving feeling like you just need to take a nap. So you can like have something and then go back into the park.
Yeah.
And I have
Have
to say,
you?
I was gonna say my favorite drink was the brown buttered old fashioned
I
when
love
I was
that
there.
drink.
Yeah,
Have you been to Space 220?
I have.
How does that menu compare, especially maybe the lounge menu at Space 220 to Geo 82?
Yeah, okay, so I think because I've done both the prefix dining and the lounge there, and I recommend to anyone if you can get a lounge spot, you actually have I think a better view of the screens, and it's less expensive because you're buying the items a la carte versus the pretty costly price tag with the prefix menu. Um, I think the quality of the food and the beverages are is higher at Geo 82, but I think that the it's very there's a visual appeal to the items that they present at Space 220 because they're trying to make it very thematic. So it has it has its own pros, but if I was given the option, I would always pick Geo 82 over Space 220 Lounge.
Yeah, I've done both as well, and I agree with you. The lounge is the way to go if you can get it. But I've not done the main Geo 82 menu, so it's good to hear. I have a reason to go back.
Mhm. I'm hoping my husband is a bit of a mixed drink connoisseur. He likes to try to invent things. They don't all work out, but he tries. And I think he will really enjoy this. And so I'm hoping we can get a reservation when we're down there later in the year.
Yeah, definitely make sure you're using that 60-day dining window for that.
Mhm. It's a popular one.
It is.
All right. And drum roll, da 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 da, or however you do a drum roll. I do not make good sound effects.
Right there with you.
We both are in agreement that our number one is Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So I have to ask, why is this your number one?
So huge Marvel nerd, and Guardians of the Galaxy was probably my favorite series of the MCU outside of the mainline Avengers movies. But the the ride is great, the queue is great, the pre-show is great. The pre-show effects are amazing. I love being in that room when your spoilers teleported up to the Nova ship. But I think just everything they did with that ride was executed very well. I think it's tens across the board for me. I'm someone that loves the thrill ride, so having something that is on that ride level at Epcot was a great addition in my mind. Why is it number one for you?
Okay, so I experience vertigo. So thrill rides, as much as I love them, can be a little bit harrowing for me. And my brother actually rode this. We were down there a few years ago, and he rode it by himself. And he's like, I really think you should go on this ride. So we're standing in line, and I'm putting on these like anti-nausea bands across my wrists. I am chewing on ginger gum. I have peppermint essential oil that I'm like sniffing. I'm like, I'm not going to get sick on this. Like, it is not going to happen. So we go on the ride, and I'm like really anxious. And usually, when I ride a roller coaster for the first time, I end up screaming. It's just kind of a visceral reaction. There was one part where I went silent, and my brother was like, oh my God, she's dead. I was choking on the gum because I was screaming. So my first experience was a little bit of a sweet and sour mix. But when we got off, I was like, that was awesome. We need to ride it again with me not dying. And we did ride it in the evening. Typically, I've noticed that they tend to post higher wait times in the evening to try to dissuade people. So it was like a 60-minute posted wait time. And I think we waited like maybe a half an hour. And it was much more enjoyable when I wasn't choking on gum. uh, but my love of Guardians of the Galaxy is actually, it's like kind of a side tangent. My daughter's name is Lorelai, and we selected that name because I grew up with the Gilmore Girls, who are both named Lorelai. Um, and my husband was introduced to it by myself when we were in college when we met, and he fell in love with the witty writing. And one of the Gunn brothers, not the one who is it Sean that was the director?
James is
Or
the director.
James. Okay, so Sean is an actor that was on Gilmore Girls, and he plays a character in the movies. So that was kind of my tie-in. I was like, okay, I know nothing about like Guardians of the Galaxy at all. My husband is an avid comic book fan. So he knows far more than I do, but I fell in love with the characters when I saw the movie with him, and I love everything about the ride. Like I said, tens across the board, just like you said. The attraction itself does not affect me in any way. I never have nausea, which I really value. I love the music selections, except for maybe conga. I got that a little too many times.
I was gonna ask.
I have to say, I think the one that hit closest to home with me, I ran the half marathon weekend. That was my first time ever running a half marathon. It was something I'd been working on, broke my foot, came back from the injury, trained for a while, and ran it. And then we went on the ride the same day, later in the day, that I completed the half marathon. And I ran, and I was like, this was meant to be.
Yeah.
So that one has a close spot now in my heart because of that experience. But for you, what would you say is your favorite song to get on that attraction?
It is absolutely Everybody Wants to Rule the
Okay.
World.
Do you feel like the ride changes based on the song you have?
I mean, you definitely get different vibes. You definitely get kind of disappointed when you get conga.
Yeah.
But I do think they did a really great job picking the songs because the vibes do change and you get a little different experience with each one.
And again, it's that it brings in that piece of rewritability, which I had mentioned with Living with the Land, because it does feel different when you write it. So I think we are both, spot on. If you've never ridden this ride, I highly recommend giving it a try at least once, even if you're not the biggest roller coaster fan. It's so smooth. Unlike Space Mountain, where it's a spinal readjustment every time you ride it.
Yeah, and the other thing is it's such an easy board and unload process where you just
Mm,
walk straight to the seat. You don't have to get up or down. So even for someone, if you have mobility issues, it's really easy to get on and off of.
yeah. Do they have? Are the vehicles all the same, or do they have? Is it like Tron, where they have some different vehicle types? I
So
can't remember.
the vehicles are all the same, but
Okay.
since you mentioned Tron, all of the vehicles are like the accessible seating on Tron. So it's really easy, even for all the vehicles being the same, for someone who has mobility challenges or is, someone who can't normally get on some of the bigger thrill rides. It's easy to get on and off of.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, it's one of the things I love about Disney is you never have to, you almost never have to worry about, hey, can I ride this ride if I have a challenge, because they try to make it so everyone can ride every ride.
Yeah, it's very inclusive, which I appreciate.
And for the Disney nerd in me, the mirror as you exit the ride building with the smile, you're entering Epcot. That's on the mirrors in the utilidors. Is just, it's one of those little Easter eggs. If you know, you know.
Well, I'm gonna have to look for that the next time I'm on the attraction.
Yeah, it's right at the end where you leave to go back out to Epcot. It's all written in Xandarian, so if you don't know what you're looking for, you might miss it. But there's a mirror to the right of the exit window or the exit door, and it has it says on it in Xandarian, "Everybody neat and pretty. You're now entering Epcot. Smile. You're representing all Xandarians. Do it well." Which is a play on the mirrors and the utilidors and at Disneyland that kind of say the same thing. Smile, you're entering the Magic Kingdom, you're representing Disney, do it well.
Wow, well, that's really cool. I never knew that.
Yep. Don't quote me on the exact wording, but it is a callback to that.
I love that about Disney. Those little details that they put into things.
Right. And even when a ride changes or goes down, there's always a little hint of what it used to be.
Yeah. I think one of my favorite is when they redid Mr. Toad's Wild Ride into Winnie the Pooh, and there's a mural of Mr. Toad giving Winnie the Pooh the deed to the place. Like, I like that.
There's a mural there, and then there's a headstone and
Oh
the
yeah.
Haunted Mansion.
That's a little morbid. I feel kind of
It
bad.
it is, yeah.
All right, Jordan, do you want to close us out?
Sure. I think it about does it for this episode. We've definitely enjoyed the show. We hope you have as well. We'd love to hear your top 5 at Epcot. Feel free to reach out and let us know. Give us a list. Maybe we'll shout it out on the show.
And you've earned your top 5 Epcot attraction stamp. Thanks,
Hooray!
guys.
If you're looking for a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, continue to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Just search the Portkey Passport. Want in on the antics? Send us a transmission at portkeypassport@portkeyvacations.com with your comments and questions. Listen and subscribe to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere else podcasts are found. And feel free to leave a cast compliment in a review. Plan your next magic adventure by contacting your favorite Portkey Vacations agent at portkeyvacations.com. Podcast Assemble on the UUOP Network, the unofficial Universal Orlando podcast. Rush of Fear, a Halloween Horror Nights podcast. The Taste of Universal podcast. UUOP UK, Big Dumb Stuff, and theme park duo for West Coast news and updates. And check out our network partner, The Fudge Factor, on YouTube for park vlogs.